Greetings, friends. I'm coming to you to share some thoughts about a name that's quite familiar to most of it. It's St. Patrick. In fact, tomorrow is St. Patrick's Day, where the Irish across the country and many other folks will remember St. Patrick. Now, I think it's important for you to have a little background information about this St. Patrick. He was a 5th century Roman British convert to Christianity, and eventually becomes the patron saint of Ireland. But it's important to know a little bit of history about this guy. When he was a young man, about 16 years old, he lived near the coast of England, and he was kidnapped by some Irish pirates, and they took him back to Ireland and enslaved him. And as a slave, they gave him the responsibility of taking care of the sheep or shepherding. And so after a few years, allegedly, according to his work called the Confessions, he heard a voice from the Lord saying, "I'm going to help you escape," and told him to go to the coast of Ireland, 200 miles away. So he made his way there, and when he gets to the coast, he finds a boat. And he persuades a man to allow him to take the boat, and they took a 3-day trip to England, where he escapes and goes back eventually to his homeland, to his family. And then he says that the Lord came to him in a vision through a man named Victorius, or something of that sort in Latin, and said that he was to go back to Ireland and convert the Gaelic, or the Irish pagans, into Christianity. And he was a little bit resistant. By this time he had converted to Christianity, but he was not convinced that that's what he needed to do. But he was compelled to go. So in the face of great danger and fear, he went back to Ireland, to that pagan island, to bring Jesus Christ crucified and risen to the pagans. And so if you read his book Confessio, or Confessions, there's a great narrative about how he goes into Ireland and converts many people. In fact, in one passage, it says that he converted or baptized thousands of people. He also converted many wealthy, among them women, and some of the women became nuns and worked in convents that they established. But ultimately, Patrick, or St. Patrick as we know him, was a young Englishman who was initially enslaved for 6 years and then becomes free, goes back to England, and then God speaks to him and gives him a charge to go back to the place of slavery and convert that nation to Christianity. And we know today that Ireland is a Christian nation, completely attributed to St. Patrick, who brought the gospel there. Now, I think it's important to understand for us that when God puts a call on our life, it's without exception. We are not to weigh it and say, maybe or maybe not. No, when God calls us, we're to go. And secondly, when he assigns us, it's not a matter of choice, but we need to go to that place of assignment. That's what St. Patrick did. He was called by God and then assigned back to a place that, none of us would want to truly have gone to ourselves. But being obedient to God, he went to Ireland, to a pagan nation, and brought Jesus Christ. And today, 1,500 years later, we're remembering this man, St. Patrick, who went and took the gospel of Jesus Christ, crucified and risen, to a pagan nation. And of course, that nation became Christianized through the power of the gospel shared by this humble man, St. Patrick. So tomorrow is St. Patrick's Day, and you'll celebrate it, remember it in many ways across the country, even across the world. But I thought it would be helpful for you to know a little bit about the background of this man we call St. Patrick. And of course, the 17th of March has been set aside as St. Patrick's Day to remember this saint of the Catholic Church, a familiar name to all of us. But I wanted you to just know a little history about this name and this man and his contribution to kingdom work for God. All right? So look. If you want to reach out to me, this is my Facebook page. Send me a comment. I'll respond to you, or go to my website, paulteskiministries.com, and hit the prayer button and share your prayer request. I'll get back and answer that, or you can follow me on Instagram, or go to my YouTube page, YouTube at Paul Teske Ministries. Everything I do on Facebook, Instagram, website, or YouTube is all under the heading Paul Teske Ministries. And I'm doing this for you. in order to share with you and thoughts and to answer your prayer requests as they come in. I'm getting the drove of these every day, and I'm answering all of them as I receive them. So go in peace and serve the Lord. And all God's people said, amen. Oh, and also have a happy and wonderful St. Patrick's Day.